All right, we're going to try this again. God, I hate this. This is the second time I've had to do this show now. The first one dropped off after about 10 minutes. So if you see that video, I'm going to try to delete it off of my page, or at least make it private so nobody can find it. This is the one you're going to want to look at. That should hopefully, as long as it doesn't close out on me like the other one did, this should be the one that you watch for my show. So let's try this again. Hello, my name is Dylan, and welcome to a brand new episode of Dylan Knows, episode 656, Maximum CinemaCon, Play on Maximum Overdrive. A lot of people don't know what that movie is, but that's Stephen King's directorial debut, and only film I think he directed, to be honest. It is 11:37 p.m. now on April 18th, 2026. It was a CinemaCon week, so most of the stuff that we talk about this week is be from CinemaCon, which a lot of people have been looking forward to. And there have been some other interesting stuff that dropped this week as well. This week for me, my son is camping, and just saw that after this week where we've had a preview of summer, hopefully that will mean that we won't get a full-blown summer since we already got a preview of it. Temperatures go back to a little bit cooler than normal, but about normal next week. But they're supposed to get a little bit of rain tomorrow morning. Didn't think the rain's going to come till later in the day, but looks like that's going to be wrong. Oh, well, so we'll see what happens. Hopefully my son will be okay. He should be okay. I guess with the yawns. Always yawning when I do this show. Don't know if it's just looking at myself and talking. I don't know. It's been an off-kilter kind of weekend for me. It's just my wife and I here at the house, which is fine. We went out to Qdoba for dinner. It was nice. Was going to go to the grocery store, but decided not to because I slept till about 9 a.m. Went to bed at 10 o'clock on Friday. Slept till about 9 a.m. and then just sort of looked at my phone and played some video games. And before you know it, it was like 1:30, 2 o'clock before I got out and did anything. Tried to mow my lawn with my ancient push mower because my electrical mower for some reason isn't working, and then it got locked up in my shed that my neighbor put back together for me, and I don't have the key to that, but he locked up thinking I did, so I don't know. And while I was mowing my lawn, it was really, really hard, thick, bulging grass like that. My neighbors usually took care of it for me without me asking, but they haven't done it for a while, so I'm assuming they just gave up on me, which is fine. I should get back to doing it anyway. So I tried to do it, and the handle broke off, and then it split in half, so it's no longer good. It's been out in the weather conditions for years since I got it. So, but I did do this to my hand. Not exactly sure what that is, but it hurts a little bit. Hopefully it won't be a detriment to me. So we ordered a brand new one from Amazon. It'll be here tomorrow. But with the rain and stuff like that, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it put together. And I hate putting that shit together. So, but it's got to get done. So we'll see what happens, see how hard it is. Hopefully not too bad. So I didn't go out get anything to drink. So I have this Gatorade, which I almost finished, which I drank a little bit on Friday. And now I'll get ready to finish it off. So I didn't do anything else. Also didn't get my headache medicine, so hopefully it won't be too bad for me tonight. So we'll see. Talked to my daughter today, first time in about 2 weeks. Everything's going fine with her. She has a little bit of a cold. That's all right. Did more research for my mom on the retirement village she wants nearby here. They only do tours on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so I might have to take a day off work to have her tour something on her birthday, which is a Thursday this year, April 30th. So we'll find out if I can get that done and see if she likes that. So we'll see. So this week I decided to go with the phone because of all the information that is going on with CinemaCon. So maybe we'll get started here. Let me just check one last thing here real quick. Yep, nothing exciting. Oh yeah, I went and saw Project Hail Mary this weekend. I enjoyed it, but I still like The Martian better. Which, that's just my opinion. I mean, it was very well done. There were some really cool scenes, but it just, I don't know. I don't think I either. I know. I keep saying just something about Martian. I enjoyed the movie, but I don't know, just something about it, just sort of like I'm not exactly sure what about it that is making me kind of hesitate about thinking about it, but I really did like it and recommend it. But The Martian to me is much better. Today is also Superman Day for comic books. It was Superman Day at comic books stores everywhere. They give away some comic book stuff for Superman. He was introduced in 1938, 88 years ago. So that's pretty cool. Sinners also has an anniversary today. Came out 1 year ago today. So that's good on that. One that ended up winning 3 or 4 Oscars. Tragic incident occurred during the ADAC 24-hour Nürburgring qualifiers at the Nordschleife, where a multi-car crash took place. Veteran driver Juha Mitian, 66 years old, sadly passed away. That's kind of a shitty thing. Also, actress Natalie Bay has suddenly passed away at the age of 77. She built an incredible legacy across decades of cinema, delivering powerful performances that left a lasting impact on French and international film. This is from CinemaCon, so if I have stories that are individually from CinemaCon, the majority of my stuff from CinemaCon will be later in the show because I'm going from the most recent post to the latest, the last one I did from last week. And CinemaCon was right there in the middle. So this one is from CinemaCon. Rashida Jones and Haley Steinfeld are set to star in Disney's original animated film Hexed, which is due out for Thanksgiving, about witches. So it's good casting and excited to see that. Police say a 20-year-old California man allegedly bought expensive Lego sets, kept the pieces, and returned the boxes filled with dry pasta. Authorities say the scheme was repeated about 70 times nationwide before he was caught. Kind of a weird thing to do, but okay. New Kool-Aid sours in bottles and pouches. Bottles come in flavors Cherry Bomb, Frostbite, and Watermelon Blast. Pouches, Frostbite, and Watermelon Blast. Spotted at Walmart right now, so go ahead and go for it if you want to. An original star from the first 2 seasons of Twisted Metal will not return for the 3rd season. I have been watching Twisted Metal, so it wasn't anyone major, I don't think, but actor Mike Mitchell, who played the role of Stu, the bumbling and reluctant sidekick of Samoa Joe Sweet Tooth. So his character was cut from season 3, so he will not be appearing in season 3. It's been 15 years since Divergent published, but Veronica Roth isn't done with Triss quite yet. The best-selling dystopian author announced at BookCon on April 18th. Ooh, BookCon came out at the same time as CinemaCon. She's written a new companion duology set in an alternate timeline to Divergent. What if Triss hadn't transferred to Dauntless, the Faction of Bravery? Not a prequel, not a sequel, not a spinoff, not a Divergent POV, but an alternate universe of Divergent. The first book, The Sixth Factor, is out October 6th. The second one, I believe, they said is sometime in January. So a lot of good stuff, a lot of good books coming out in October. It's crazy. It's almost like October is the biggest month for books, which is weird because it's horror month. It's spooky season, so who knows. Love myself some October, though. David Harbour is the latest actor reporting for duty on Lionsgate's upcoming Rambo prequel movie. Could care less, don't care about Rambo, but hey, good job, David Harbour. This is also CinemaCon. Top Gun 3 is presently in pre-production, getting the script written and stuff like that, so it's not going to be out for a little while. I'm not a big fan of the Top Gun movies. This is the 40th anniversary of Top Gun this year, and then Maverick got really good reviews and had a good appearance from jeez, I just said his name too. The guy who played Iceman. I can't think of him right now. Val Kilmer. There we go. But I thought from what I've been reading is that Maverick ended Maverick's story pretty good, and yet now here we are with the 3rd one coming up. So who knows? This is a good deal. I think this is now this was CinemaCon. This is now off the side because it's not a movie. But this is a good idea. Reginald Hudlin is set to develop, direct, and produce a Phantom comic into the live-action TV series. They did the Phantom was a movie that came out in 1994 based on a comic strip that's been around since the 30s. It is a great storyline. and a very interesting one. And we'll see if it's done. But Reginald Hudlin's a good choice for it. Charles Dance is going to be playing, is rumored, unconfirmed, but is rumored to be playing Charles Dent, the father of Gotham District Attorney Harvey Dent, who will be played by Sebastian Stan. Scarlett Johansson is also set to play Dent's wife, so that's for the new Batman 2 coming out. So good. This is the point where my feed broke down last time. So right now it looks like we're in good shape. So again, ignore the first 10-minute episode. I'm going to try to delete that once it pops up on the screen. So we'll try to do this one. This is really good news. I really like this. Papa John's garlic sauce is set to be in major stores in its own little pouches. So you don't have to buy Papa John's anymore. The garlic sauce is so good to dip your pizza crust into. It is one of the best parts about Papa John's. So there we go. 3 inches of snow covered Coors Field in Denver before the Dodgers-Rockies game this past Friday. So that's kind of interesting. Blondie and Supergirl will be teaming up for probably Blondie probably doing a song for the new Supergirl movie coming out. So that's interesting. Kristen Bell has begun recording her voice role in Frozen 3. So that means that production is officially underway. On this day, an anniversary, 1985. So that would be 41 years ago this week. Legend was released, a little-known Ridley Scott film with a very young Tom Cruise, Mia Sara, Tim Curry, David Bennett, Billy Barty, Robert Picardo. I saw it once a long time ago. Couldn't tell you much about it. I remember there was a unicorn in it, but I did watch it. I just don't remember it. Selena Gomez has reportedly been cast in Brady Corbett's next film, described as a 4-hour NC-17 project exploring the history of the occult in America. Okay. 4 hours and 17 minutes is a long time, but that's a really neat idea. Go for it, man. Daffy Duck Day is also today. He turns 89 years old, so he's basically a year older than Superman, which is weird. But all right. There we go. The Dragon Ball narrator Carlos Becerril died at the age of 90. So that's unfortunate. Thea White and Arthur Anderson, 2 other voiceover actors, passed away this week as well. Also, another voiceover actor, Alexander Morton, passed away this week as well. So a lot of that happening going on. Lee Jun Lee, known as her role in Sinners, which came out a year ago this week, has joined the season 3 cast of The Last of Us. Sprite will be releasing 2 more Sprite chills. One is a berry flavored and one is lemon mint, which to me just does not sound good. A lemon mint soda flavor. Yeah, that doesn't sound too really good to me, actually. A World War Z sequel is officially in the works. That was announced at CinemaCon as well at Paramount. And Max Brooks, who wrote the novel, was like, it is. So he didn't know about it. John Krasinski has started production on A Quiet Place 3. So, excuse me, pre-production on it. So that's a good sign that's going to start filming here soon. Also at CinemaCon, Paramount confirms a new live-action Transformers movie coming out soon. Well, starting production, it'll probably be out for about a year or 2, probably. Callum Turner and Monica Barbaro are starring in One Night Only, which is a romantic comedy from what I read. This was announced at CinemaCon, which is about for one night a year, people are allowed to have sex, something like that. It's the only time of the year they can have sex. That's what I gathered from it. I think there's more at the CinemaCon story later on. I'll see if I can find that for you. This week, an anniversary this week, In Search Of, the TV show with Leonard Nimoy narrating it, about mysterious things, conspiracies, supernatural things, debuted in 1977. So that makes that 49 years ago. So 50th anniversary is next year. Netflix has announced another animated film. I talked about their other animated films they got coming out this year. They keep doubling up on it. This is another interesting one. Charlie versus the Chocolate Factory, contemporary reimagining with a twist on the novel. Kit Connor will voice the new character, Charlie Paley, and Taika Waititi is set to voice Willy Wonka. Supposedly, Willy Wonka disappears for a while and comes back and found that Charlie has absolutely decimated the chocolate factory and goes to war with him to try to bring it back. Oh, I'm bleeding. I talked about him. Ethan Embry is set to join the cast of Prime Video's Cross for season 3, based on the Alex Cross novels. The White Lotus alum landed the role of Gus Everett in the Emily film that I should probably have read with Patrick Schwarzenegger to lead a Beach Read from Emily Henry. So with he set to star opposite Phoebe Denevor in Beach Read. Romantic comedy following January Andrews, successful romance novelist who struggles with grief and writer's block after his father's death and discovery of secrets he's long kept hidden. While spending the summer in his Michigan beach house, he prepares it for sale. She unexpectedly reconnects with Gus Everett, an author who was once her rival in college. So, romantic comedy, but Patrick Schwarzenegger. Okay, he's trying to make a career for himself. Good job. Game of Thrones debuted 15 years ago this week. Purdue is releasing. You can only get. Oh, they're arriving at Walmart. I guess you can only get online. You get online and then Walmart. The 6-7 chicken nuggets. Yep, 6-7. I don't know if that's even a thing anymore, but they are doing 6-7 chicken nuggets. Exactly what you think of they are. They are chicken nuggets in the shape of 6-7. Ridley Scott has a new movie out called The Dog Stars with Jacob Elordi, Josh Brolin, and Margaret Qualley. Set to debut in theaters August 28th. This was announced at CinemaCon as well. It's a dystopian novel, movie about a boy and a man and his dog in the end times here. Bokeem Woodbine and Nona Parker Johnson join season 2 of Dexter Resurrection. I guess it's a Roblox game. Okay. 20th Century Studios has secured the rights to adapt 99 Nights in the Forest into a movie. That's my son about it. I don't know anything about it. It's a Roblox game, so he'll probably know a little bit more about it than I do. The Terror, Devil, and Silver trailer is out now based on the novel. 38 years ago this week, My Neighbor Totoro was released, which is a great film, by the way, if you haven't watched it yet. HBO Max Australia's picked up Cozy Bookish. The show is written by and stars Mark Gatiss and is heading into its 2nd season. This is a surprise. I saw him play before. Garrett Anderson, player for the Anime Angels, passed away this week as well at the age of 54. We got our first look at Whale Fall at CinemaCon, set debut October 16th in movie theaters, based on a novel about a guy played by Austin Abrams who gets stuck inside a whale and only has 1 hour of oxygen left to escape. Also stars Josh Brolin. Fern Gully has been greenlit as a live action film based on the animated film. Marielle Heller is set to direct, so that's an interesting take. New trailer for The Mandalorian and Grogu popped up, set debut May 22nd. Dan Stevens has joined the cast of Dexter Resurrections as well. Warner Brothers confirmed at CinemaCon that the long-awaited sequel, The Revenge of La Lorna, is set for theatrical release on April 9th, 2027. Space Ghost Coast to Coast debuted 32 years ago this week. It was actually one of the funniest kind of talk shows out there on Comedy Central, or Cartoon Network, excuse me. We got our first look at Godzilla Minus Zero. We get the first teaser trailer with the last shot being Godzilla by the Statue of Liberty. So he looks like he's going to America. We also get a shot of Ryunosuke Kamiki and Minami Hamabe, who were the main actors in the original film. So they are returning for the sequel. We did not see this. It has not been leaked online, but at CinemaCon, the first trailer for Verity, starring Anne Hathaway and Dakota Johnson, was shown, and it looks like it's supposed to. Looks exciting. Looks like there's going to be some kissing between Dakota Johnson and Anne Hathaway, so that makes it even better to look at. The Ravens released their new uniforms, and to be honest, I didn't really notice a big difference in them. They look pretty much the same sort of color schemes. Some slight differences here about the striping. There's some markings that I didn't notice that have been different or whatever. But they do have a darkness helmet, which has a front-facing raven with red eyes for their all blacks costume or uniform, so it looks pretty decent. First look at The Heart of the Beast with Brad Pitt from David Ayer. So that'll be coming out soon. Scream box set featuring Billy, Stu, and Sydney in the kitchen is set to come out here soon as well. Avengers Endgame is returning to movie theaters in September with never before seen footage ahead of Doomsday. So that's going to try to get people in there to see if they're adding footage that's going to lead into Doomsday. So I don't know if I really want to go to the movie theater to see it again, to be honest. So, because I have issues with Endgame. Let's see. See, this is the only problem is that there's a lot of extraneous stuff here. Oh, yeah. Just announced at CinemaCon, and this is in response to how Dune 3 is getting all the IMAX screens since it's coming out the same day as Avengers Doomsday. So Avengers Doomsday will not be available in IMAX until Dune 3's 2-week run of it is done. So instead, what they decided to do is they decided to create their own new large format, no longer known as IMAX. It's now called Infinity Vision. The largest screens for maximum scale, laser projection for superior brightness and clarity, premium audio formats for film immersive sound, beginning with the September 25th re-release of Marvel Studios' Endgame and followed by Doomsday. Audiences will be able to seek out Infinity Vision certified screens and see the film at the grandest possible scale. So what's probably going to happen then is, since CinemaCon is for movie theaters, they probably told them, if you want this, let us know and we'll come to your theater, which means that basically, like at my theater at over here at AMC, they have one or two. Maybe they might have 2 IMAX theaters there. And they have some other ones as well. They might say you might want to add 1 or 2 of these Infinity Visions to that as well, or change one of your IMAXs to an Infinity Vision one. The fact of the matter is only 2 movies right now are going to be set for Infinity Vision, but I'm sure they're going to start doing more of them in the future. So we'll see how that works out. But they did announce that at CinemaCon this week. Also announced at CinemaCon this week is the James Bond video game. And Lana Del Rey will be doing the theme for it. It's called 007 First Light. And the theme song is by Lana Del Rey. And it's set to come out in May, which I didn't think was going to happen, but okay. 3 new Lay's flavors: wavy French onion soup, Brazilian-style garlic sauce, and Argentinian-style steak. Could be interesting. A new biopic centered on the rise, fall, and reinvention of lifestyle mogul Martha Stewart is officially in the works, with Cate Blanchett set to star and Genevieve Bravo in the director's chair. Sonic the Hedgehog 4 is just revealed its first footage. It confirms that Jim Carrey will be returning for another 4th movie. First look at Mr. Irrelevant, the John Tuggle story, in theaters December 25th, 2026. Don't really know much about it, but they announced that at CinemaCon. We'll talk about that when we get closer to that. First, look at the Lego Shrek, Donkey, and Puss in Boots set. So there's going to be a Lego set with them in it. So that's pretty cool. 22 years ago this week, The Punisher with Thomas Jane released. It's not a bad movie. I watched the movie theater. It's pretty decent. One Piece announces a Kit Kat collab, dropping only in India. Okay. But their Kit Kats are going to have members of the One Piece crew on the wrappers. We get our first trailer from Sacha Baron Cohen's and Rosamund Pike's, Ladies First, set May 22nd for Netflix. Basically, it's about a sexist, misogynistic asshole played by Sacha Baron Cohen who gets into an accident and is transported into an altered dimension where women are the big species, are the hierarchy. The matriarch is the hierarchy, and the patriarchs are the bottom. So the women treat the men like men treat women on this land, and so he's got to try to figure out a way to get back to his time or gain control of his company again. So it could be an interesting take on things. So we'll see. This is really getting a lot of buzz. I talked about this when it first came out, and then CinemaCon is pushing it even more. They took a look at Children of Blood and Bone, which is based on a hugely popular young person fantasy novel set, I think. Stars Damson Idris, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Thuso Bedu, and Amandla Steinberg. They came and released some first footage on it. I think it's going to be a huge movie. It looks really, really interesting, and I've heard it looks really, really good, based on a YA novel series that's hugely popular, and with basically pretty much an all African-American cast, which did wonders for Sinners. So as long as the story is good and the direction is good, it might make as much as Sinners did and get some of the same sort of thing. Got a great cast, though, so we'll take a look at that when that comes out more closer. Anniversary this week, Kick-Ass debuted 16 years ago this week. The Peacock reboot of The Burbs TV show has got renewed for a second season. Bradley Cooper confirmed at CinemaCon that he will be writing and directing the Ocean's 11 prequel film where he and Margot Robbie play the parents of George Clooney's and Sandra Bullock's characters. And it'll be taking place at the 1963 car race. I forget what it's called. I guess I'll look at it when I get closer to it. Apparently, George Washington is coming to Fortnite, which I think is a great idea if it actually is true. Season 3 of HBO's hit medical drama The Pitt will be set in November around pre-Thanksgiving. So that would be good. Jumanji announced at CinemaCon the third Jumanji movie with The Rock and Karen Gillan and Jack Black. Is now going to be called Jumanji Open World. They got a preview, another preview of Steven Spielberg's Disclosure Day. He popped up at CinemaCon for the first time maybe in forever and did a nice little speech about it, showed some new footage of it, and also said all the stuff you've been seeing in the trailers and what I'm showing you here, this is just from the first half of the movie. You haven't seen what's going to be coming and happening in the second half yet. So that's a definitely interesting way of doing things, and has upped my interest in the film. At first, when they announced that he was doing a UFO movie again with David Cope, who co-wrote Jurassic Park with him. I thought, okay, or David Cope wrote Jurassic Park, the adaptation of it, and now he co-wrote this movie with Steven. I thought we were seeing what I was seeing. I wasn't that intrigued about it, but the fact that he said that you haven't even seen the second half of the movie yet, any scenes that you've seen so far are from the first half of the movie. So that's kind of a cool idea. See where that goes. Jackass 5 was revealed also at CinemaCon. We knew it was coming, but we got to learn more about it. It's the last one. It's called Best and Last. Set to release June 26, 2026. I think I have better story down the line of what the story is actually about, what's going to be going on. We got our first teaser trailer for Spaceballs 2, which is now called Spaceballs, the new one, not Spaceballs, The Search for More Money. People are upset about that, but you know what? I don't care. I'm getting a Spaceballs 2. It's a debut April 23rd, 2027. Basically, we have Mel Brooks just talking about the making of the movie after so long. So it's good to see that, but no actual footage was seen. Johnny Depp came on stage at CinemaCon, showed off some of his work in the Christmas Carol movie coming out this Christmas, November 13th to be exact. We haven't seen it posted yet, but I've heard that it's been pretty decent. Paramount's upcoming Call of Duty movie will release in theaters June 30th, 2028, so it's going to be a couple of years in line. I think Taylor Sheridan's writing that. In Living Color debuted 36 years ago this week. It was a great, underrated TV show. Fantastic. Tiana Taylor is making her directorial debut with the film Get Light at Paramount, starring Storm Reed. So Avengers have at CinemaCon, Avengers Doomsday is officially going to keep their release date of December 18th. I talked about that with the whole Infinity Vision stuff that they announced as well. So it will not be moved to the 12th. Salman Borneo, another voiceover actor, we lost this week as well. It's the fourth or fifth one this week. That's crazy. The first trailer for Robert Eggers' werewolf film debuted at CinemaCon. Again, we haven't seen it yet. They only do this for the movie theater owners, then they'll release it a few weeks later. They say it is just as brutal as Nosferatu and his other stuff, and exactly what you're expecting as well. Robert Eggers calls it his most terrifying film yet. Children of Blood and Bone, the footage that was shown at CinemaCon looks huge with numerous locations, big action and magic. So that is pretty decent. It's good to hear that. How to Rob a Bank also showed up at CinemaCon. First look at it, David Leitch's film starring Nicholas Hoult and Pete Davidson. They are YouTubers who are videotaping how to rob a bank, obviously. Also stars Anna Sawai, Zoe Kravitz, and John C. Reilly. Set debut September 4th, 2026. So you'll be seeing that later this year. This wasn't CinemaCon because it's a TV show, but we also got our first look at Einstein, the TV show starring former Brooklyn Nine-Nine Melissa Fumero and Matthew Gray Gubler, talking about young Einstein. So that's interesting. Jackass 5 cracks up CinemaCon as trailer debuts Steve-O's robot prostate exam, penis shock collars, and the last Jackass movie the world will ever see. So that's good there. We got our first look at the new trailer for Focker-in-Law, set to debut in theaters Thanksgiving. So it's the fourth in the Meet the Parents saga. This time, Ben Stiller's son is dating a woman played by Ariana Grande, who is very similar to Robert De Niro's character and ends up rubbing Ben Stiller's character the wrong way. So, of course, we'll see what happens with that. I never liked the Meet the Parents films, to be honest, so I was not moved by this trailer. But if you like that type of stuff, you'll probably like this, and you'll probably definitely pretty good. And Ariana Grande holding her own with Stiller and De Niro is a sight to see as well. And even, what's his face? You know what? Maybe I can't remember it. I always blank on his name, so I'm not even going to worry about it. The guy who is in Loki with Tom Hiddleston. His brother was in Idiocracy. I can't remember. Oh, well. Joy Harmon, the actress who memorably and without a word stole a scene from Paul Newman, the classic Cool Hand Luke, has died. Excellent poster for Godzilla Minus Zero with Godzilla's tail encircling the Empire State Building, popping up out of the clouds. We got our first trailer. Well, no, because it just came out. We had a trailer for The Christophers with Ian McKellen and Michael Cera and Michael McKella Cole. Excuse me. CinemaCon announced that Jessica Chastain has joined the cast of Other Mommy, a Blumhouse film. We see a young daughter who's being stalked by a monstrous creature that looks exactly like her own mother. Coming out October 2026. That's interesting. This is great. Escape from New York reboot and Paddington sequel in the works at Studio Canal. When someone first dropped the headline at CinemaCon, it sounded like the Paddington was going to be in the Escape from New York reboot, which they thought was funny. But yes, beginning Escape from New York reboot and a Paddington sequel, as well as a TV series, I think. Alexandra Daddario, Kyle Gallner, and Raul Castillo have been cast in the horror film Inground. I don't know what this is, but Gummy Bar movie in the works, 20 years of a viral icon. Don't know that well. At CinemaCon, the first look at the Thomas Crown Affair, directed by Michael B. Jordan, seduces with art, sex, and an Oscar-winning six-pack. So it looks like it's going to be a sexy, sultry film. Anniversaries, Kill Bill Volume 2 debuted 22 years ago this week. I think it comes out next year. Oh, okay. That's the titular billionaire Michael B. Jordan plays Thomas Crown Affair, and he directed also. Faces off against former FBI agent Adria Arjona, who is hot as hell also, hunting him heist by heist in search of the truth, while the two play a cat and mouse and see supervillain and Kenneth Branagh looms overhead, so you get that as well. In between glistening, shirtless crunches and sexy dalliances, Jordan's Thomas Crown's motives become clear. His crown was retrieve precious artifacts, misappropriated, stolen, or sold over the centuries from their rightful creators. So it's a new reboot and potentially a new series for him. Demi Moore is set to join Charlize Theron and Jennifer Garner for the high-stakes World of New York fine dining film. What's it called? Tyrant. So that's interesting. Julia Garner, not Jennifer Garner, Julia Garner. So that's an interesting one. There is now a Clue escape room at Breakout Games. Universal shows off Violent Night 2. I think Kristen Bell is going to be playing Mrs. Claus. That was announced at CinemaCon as well. The Lego Batman Legacy of Dark Knight game is set to feature the Batman Absolute suit, as well as many other ones as well. We've got a first look at I Play Rocky at CinemaCon as well. Again, we haven't seen any of this stuff, but just heard about it from that as well. The Captain Crunch mystery flavor has been solved. It is Cherry Vanilla Crunch and set to debut as its Cherry Vanilla Crunch flavor in stores soon. Shannon Elizabeth joins OnlyFans. So take that as you will, whatever you want as you will. The movie adaptation of Kazuo Ishiguro's best-selling novel, Clara and the Sun, is officially releasing in theaters on October 23rd, 2026, directed by Taika Waititi and stars Jenna Ortega and Amy Adams. Sounds like that could be a pretty decent film. I think it's about a robot child who ends up working in a house, something like that. They released the Street Fighter movie trailer of the live-action film at CinemaCon. Linda Cardellini has joined the cast of Bill Hader's horror film They Know. Minecraft 2 gets a new title. Minecraft 2 has been titled a Minecraft sequel, and that's set to debut July 2027. So they're going to start working on that really soon. The first one really wasn't bad. I actually liked it a lot. Simon Oxley, the British graphic designer best known for creating Twitter's original bird logo, has died at the age of 56. Damn. Ruby Modine and Richard Harmon are set to star in the upcoming 1980s horror thriller A Most Delightful Game. Michael Blanchard is confirmed to direct Final Destination 7, which Warner Brothers has dated for May 12, 2028. The live-action Jungle Book directed by Jon Favreau, debuted 10 years ago this week. The Beekeeper 2 is set to start production right now, which follows the Beekeeper Society trying to overthrow the U.S. government, and Jason Statham now uses the bees to heal his wounds, and as well as sticking a flamethrower down someone's mouth and shooting it in their body. Jake Blaney, voice of Bill Gray and Wolf O'Donnell, star of Fox 64, has passed away. So another voiceover actor passed away. Wow. Scream 4 debuted 15 years ago this week. Christopher Nolan debuted some more footage at CinemaCon, including the Trojan War thing, which didn't happen in the Odyssey, but in the Iliad. So we're probably going to see some of the stuff from the Iliad in there as well. He says that the story centers on Matt Damon, Anne Hathaway, and Tom Holland. Highlander set reveals photos of Henry Cavill and Karen Gillan in 16th century Scotland. So good on that. Marshall Ali and Bassam Tariq are at CinemaCon to talk about their film Your Mother, Your Mother, Your Mother, which Ali plays a loving dad who's also a hitman. Yep, Kristen Bell is set to play Mrs. Claus in Violent Night 2. I thought that was the case. The Last Starfighter comic book is coming out, which is going to be played as a sequel to the movie. So that's pretty interesting. So the release dates for these following movies were set for Warner Brothers from CinemaCon. The Revenge of La Lorna, April 9th, 2027. The Ocean's prequel, June 25th, 2027. Evil Dead Wrath, April 7th, 2028. Final Destination 7, May 12th, 2028. The Flood, August 11th, 2028, which is Zach Krager's new film. Gladys, he's not directing Gladys, the spin-off based from her Weapons character, is set debut September 8th, 2028, and a new Baz Luhrmann movie is set debut November 22nd, 2028. Anniversary, 43 years ago this week, Flashdance debuted. Godzilla Minus Zero is the first Japanese production ever to be filmed for IMAX. So that's pretty cool. Also, more behind-the-scenes footage of the Henry Cavill Highlander preview or reboot shows a more neon-drenched club, a lot more colors and stuff like that. So it could be interesting. DC Studios showed off some more Supergirl footage and Clayface teaser trailer at CinemaCon. They say that Clayface is really going to jump into the horror aspect of it, and looks like a completely different sort of superhero type movie that's never been seen before. So that's pretty interesting that that's going to happen as well. R-rated Bloodborne animated movie in development. I guess based on a video game. So it's going to be an R-rated animated film, which is interesting. The head of Amazon MGM Studios says they're taking their time in casting James Bond. That's why they're not announcing anything about him. The Baltimore Orioles moved to Baltimore April 15th, 1954, 52 years ago. It's 52. No, not 52 years. 54 was 54, 64, 74, 84, 94, 2004, 2014, 2024, 72 years ago. They were the St. Louis Browns. They moved to Baltimore and became the Baltimore Orioles back in 54. This week. Coyote vs. Acme, set to debut at the end of August. Also debuted some footage, so we'll finally be able to see that. That's right. The Ocean's prequel will follow the parents of Danny Ocean and at the 1962 Monaco Grand Prix. Sydney Chandler has joined the cast of Creature Commandos Season 2 as Nosferatu. Rick Moranis. Oh, no, we already talked about that. SpongeBob SquarePants Krispy Kreme Donut set is coming out here soon. We also got a first look at Gareth Evans's A Cult Is My Passport, a reimagining the 1967 Yakuza thriller set in 1978 Detroit. Gatorade All-American Mashup is going to have a watermelon and guava flavor, so that could be pretty good for mashups, which aren't too bad. The Copenhagen test with Simu Liu did not get renewed for a second season. Erika Leniak reprised her Baywatch role in the new Fox sequel series. We got our first trailer for Bagman, which is a horror film based on an urban legend set to debut September 20th. Daniel Radcliffe liked the end of Stranger Things, so all you haters out there who hated it can just go to hell and die. It was fantastic. Paddington 4 and an animated film are officially in the works. That's what I thought. Charles Webb, former dean of the Indiana University Jacobs School of Music, passed away this week. Adria Arjona was announced this week to join the cast of Superman, Man of Tomorrow. Most people believe that she'll be playing Maxima, but a lot of people are thinking that might be a smokescreen. She'll also be playing Wonder Woman. So we'll find out for sure when that movie comes out next year. The White Lotus Season 4 is now officially in production, so fans of that can be excited to know it's going to be coming sooner than later. Jackie Chan is going to be directing an opera with Turandot at the Puccini Festival. That's kind of a unique thing to direct, but okay. Rio opened 15 years ago this week. It's the animated film DreamWorks with Anne Hathaway. Searchlight Pictures acquires the horror film Monitor, which was the South by Southwest horror film. A mysterious symbol has been found on car windshields with the warning, "Don't drive at night." A lot of people are believing that this is a promotional event for the movie Passengers, which is a horror film coming in May. We got our first trailer at that at CinemaCon. Glenn Powell and Jenna Ortega traveled to alternate worlds in the first trailer for J.J. Abrams' post-Star Wars movie. So that is called The Great Beyond. Could be an interesting sort of film. Not only does star Glenn Powell and Jenna Ortega, also stars Emma McMackey, Samuel Jackson, Sophie Okonedo, and Merritt Weaver. Details about the characters remain closely guarded secret, but they will be starring an original story written and directed by Abrams. So we'll hear more about that, I'm sure, soon. It's called The Great Beyond. Warner Brothers announced at CinemaCon that it has acquired Zach Krager's upcoming sci-fi thriller, The Flood, but has also fast-tracked it with plans to release it August 11, 2028. Learn the film is very alien-esque, following a deep space captain who leads her crew to investigate a cryptic signal from a distant world, only to uncover an alien artifact that warps time, reality, and their sanity. Okay, could be interesting. Okay, I already talked about that. Last week, I talked about this week being kind of the week from hell. History-wise, here's another reason why. In 1912, luxury liner RMS Titanic sunk. So that was like 1912. 100 years was 2012. So it would be 114 years ago. Wow. 114 years ago. Jesus. 43 years ago, The Evil Dead, the original Evil Dead, debuted in movie theaters. Jonathan Davis will play Snoop Dogg in the biopic Snoop, set in theaters for December for 2027. Okay, I talked about Mr. Irrelevant. It is an NFL sports drama set in 1983. Will be appearing in theaters this Christmas. Stars David Cornsweet, who most recently was Superman. The Amityville Horror, the remake with Ryan Reynolds, debuted 21 years ago. Fine Print Trade Paperback Volume 3 from Stefan Sedgwick is out now, which is an amazing storyline. If you haven't read it yet, it's crazy. 20 years ago this week, the 10th Doctor and Rose set a course for New Earth as they began the Series 2 of the new Doctor Who. Madonna's Confessions of a Dance Floor Part 2 sets a July release date. She also sang with Sabrina Carpenter at Coachella this week. Hall of Fame surfing dog Sugar passes away at the age of 16. We had our first trailer look at the new Netflix version of Little House on the Prairie. Looks exactly how you thought it would. Former Alabama star allegedly impersonated NFL players in $20 million loan scam, which is kind of interesting. Not only did the Baltimore Ravens change their uniform, so did the Washington Commanders. There's going to be an Elseworlds comic where Jor-El comes to Earth instead of Kal-El. That could be pretty interesting to see what that's about. First trailer for Alejandro Gonzalez Inarritu's Digger premiered at CinemaCon with Tom Cruise developing the performance of a lifetime. As I called it, I think he's going to win the Oscar for Best Actor next year. But again, no details are given on the trailer. Hasn't been released out yet for us. It's funny, in 1912, two French brothers kidnapped by their father survived the Titanic alone until their mother recognized them in newspapers. That's kind of interesting. Paramount is moving forward with a new Longlegs film after Neon stepped away from it due to budgetary concerns. Looks like Nicolas Cage will be back for that. That was announced at CinemaCon. There's going to be a game. The Game of Thrones movie is officially a go. It's officially been titled Game of Thrones: Aegean's Conquest. Disney lays off entire Marvel Studios visual team, which is not good. Apparently, they're going to be going the AI route. That's not very good. We are first look at Practical Magic 2. Again, we didn't see anything. It said debut September 18th. I'm looking forward to it, but then Sandra Bullock sort of made comments about how we need to embrace AI, and I'm not sure if I'm a fan of that. But she has a right to her own opinion, so we'll see. I'm still going to see Practical Magic 2, though. Okay, I already did that one. Mm-hmm. All right. Warner Brothers just announced that at CinemaCon that Anora director Sean Baker's new film, TMO. This is good. Also announced at CinemaCon the entire cast for Lord of the Rings, The Hunt for Gollum. Andy Serkis, who's directing it, is also set to play Gollum and Sméagol. Ian McKellen reprises his role as Gandalf the Grey. Lee Peace reprises his role as Thranduil. Elijah Wood reprises his role as Frodo Baggins. I told you last week Viggo Mortensen was not going to come back for the sequel, so they had to find somebody else. They did. Jamie Dorner is set to play Strider / Aragorn. He was the guy from the 50 Shades movies. Leo Woodall plays Halvard, and Kate Winslet is playing a character played Marigold. So there's your cast for the upcoming Hunt for Gollum. Decent. We'll see that coming out, I think, next year. The Madison, the Michelle Pfeiffer, Kurt Russell Yeltsin successor got renewed for another season. The live-action Legend of Zelda film has wrapped filming, so that's good. We'll be seeing that sooner than later. Michelle Monaghan is set to join the cast of Apple TV's Your Friends and Neighbors. Phil Collins, Iron Maiden, Wu-Tang Clan, Billy Idol, Luther Vandross, Sade, and more to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, so that's good. Lin-Manuel Miranda has unveiled the cast of his upcoming film Octet. Amanda Seyfried, yes. Rachel Ziegler, yes. Sheryl Lee Ralph, yes. Philippa Sue, I don't know you, but cool. Gaten Matarazzo, Jonathan Groff, yes. Trammell Tillman, yes. And Paul Jordan Jansen, don't know you either. Film centers on 8 internet-dependent individuals who gather in a church basement, surrender their phones, and confront their struggles with digital addiction. Sounds pretty interesting. And we'll see it probably next year. Last week I told you Kevin Bacon has been cast in Southern Bastards drama pilot from Hulu. Has also added Aaron Kellyman and Tim McGraw to the cast. We also get our first look at the trailer for The Brink of War, where Jeff Daniels plays Ronald Reagan, which is interesting. Jared Harris and J.K. Simmons also in it, coming August 14th. It's about the nuclear arm de-escalation arms talks between Reagan and Gorbachev. I think Gorbachev is played by Jared Harris. Could be interesting. As we talked about Passenger already, said debut May 22nd. The trailer came out this week. Looks absolutely creepy. They Might Be Giants' new album, The World Is Too Dig, which is a funny title, is out this week. Extraction director Sam Hargrave to helm Sony's It Had to Be You action film. Alan Richardson and Owen Wilson need to deliver a liver to a young girl in the teaser trailer for Runner. So that was debuted at CinemaCon as well. Maya Erskine is set to make her feature directorial debut on untitled teen comedy for A24. Emma Stone is attached to produce the project. Young Sherlock gets renewed for another season as well. We had our first look at CinemaCon of the new trailer for A Place in Hell with Michelle Williams, Daisy Edgar Jones, which debuts December 25th, 2026. Reads a lot like Fatal Attraction, but in lawyer time. There's a remake of The Night of the Living Dead with Vivica Fox and Robert Carradine, who I think just passed away recently. Good Omens 3, the trailer debuted for the final episode, debuted this week. Crumble is bringing brownie dippers, where it's a cup of bite-sized brownies. You can dip it in fudge frosting and chocolate sprinkles. Sounds pretty good. Some first look at Zach Krager's Resident Evil film was debuted at CinemaCon as well. We also got our first look at Beyond the Spider-Verse. Some good-looking stuff, so people are getting excited for it. We also get a full trailer for The Hunger Games: Sunrise of the Reaping, set debut November 20th. Also looks good still. Oh. I already talked about that as well. Okay. Godzilla -1 director Takashi Yamazaki, after he made the Godzilla movie, got -1. He made another movie where he made -0. This one's called Grand Gear, set to debut February 18th, 2028. A brief teaser showed 2 massive mechs fighting in a city, so that could be interesting. Enya lost her sister, passed away this week. Zach Krager is set to produce the dark comedy Little One alongside Roy Lee and others, with Alex Kovetsky directing. True Moo is bringing back the blue milk for the Star Wars stuff. first look at the Social Reckoning trailer, which is the sequel to The Social Network. Mikey Madsen, Jeremy Allen White. Debuts October 9th, 2026. Insidious Out of the Further was the first trailer debut at CinemaCon. We also got some first look at Spider-Man Brand New Day. It looks like Ned is trying to figure out who Spider-Man is. There's going to be a reboot of John Wayne's 1947 Angel and the Bad Man, starring Tommy Lee Jones as well. 41 million year old flies preserved mid-mating in Australian amber reveal secrets of ancient Gondwana. That's quite a handful or a mouthful to say. We got our first look at The Burrow, set to debut May 21st from Netflix. Alfred Gina David, Bill Pullman, and others. Dave McGinnis, respected NFL coach, passed away this week, was also the voice of the Tennessee Titans radio network. Friday the 13th, the final chapter debuted 42 years ago this week. Sid Croft, he of Marty and Sid Croft, Marty Croft and Sid Croft, created HR Puffin Stuff, Land of the Lost, Sigmund the Sea Monster, the Electro Woman, and Dinah Girl passed away this week as well. Yeah. I kind of like my writing better, so I might not do these for this phone anymore. Richard Donnet, best known for his role as Vince Teagues in the TV series Haven, has passed away. Avengers Doomsday is recording exceptional performance on long lead tracking. It's projected to be the highest grossing film of the year. Warner Brothers officially scheduled production for Wonka 2 to begin this August with Timothée Chalamet. The first footage to Everybody Wants to Fuck Me, starring Taron Egerton, was shown at CinemaCon. Follows a man who discovers that every woman is stalking him and wants to fuck him. Okay. Mountain Dew has changed the name of Mountain Dew to American Dew for the remainder of the year, I guess, or until the 250th anniversary of 4th of July. Super rare Star Wars Boba Fett figure sets record after selling for over $1.3 million. That's pretty cool. Robert Rodriguez is set to direct his first animated feature film, The Naughty List. So that's good. I can't wait to see that. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Maya Erskine, will appear in season 2 alongside Donald Glover, also joined by Talia Ryder, Mark Edelstein as well. A reimagining of The Howling is in development, which is a Joe Dante werewolf film. This is a good story. Caro Claire Burke's debut novel, Yesteryear, is officially getting a movie adaptation. Anne Hathaway has swiped up the rights to produce the movie and potentially star in it as well, which is basically about a trad wife who goes online and details her perfect life and does cooking videos, stuff like that, gets and has the perfect family and blah, 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 and is rich and famous and popular, stuff like that. So miraculously gets transported to the 1880s with her same husband and children, but they're different than what they were, and she's got to figure out how to live because she's had everything handed to her. Anniversary, The Legend of Zelda, the very first one, debuted in 1992. 34 years ago this week. I remember my mom's boyfriend, Tony, when it first came out, he would stay up all night to play this till he finished it. Serial Mom, a fantastic John Waters film filmed in this area. Well, actually, down in Towson and that area where I grew up. And actually, filmed in my high school, debuted 42 years ago this week. New trailer for Young Washington, set debut July 3rd. Didn't know that was even a thing. The Rookie has been renewed for season 9. This is a good idea, too. I like this. Percival Everett's best-selling novel, James, is getting a movie adaptation from Taika Waititi. Spielberg will be one of the executive producers. Taika Waititi will be the director. It is basically a, and the author of the novel will write the screenplay. It's basically the Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, but from Jim's perspective. So I think that's a really good idea and should be very interesting. Cabin in the Woods debuted 14 years ago this week. 15 years, I'm sorry. No. One says 2012, one says 2011. So 14 or 15 years, 6, 7, whatever. Whoa, okay. According to China Daily, a 17-year-old Chinese woman named Zhao was set to appear in court after allegedly selling her boyfriend to a fraudulent telecom company in Myanmar. When he reached the border, he was abducted, had his head shaved, and was locked inside a small room for months, where he was forced to commit telecom fraud. Zhao was paid 100,000 yuan, which is about 13,900 for her boyfriend. Batwoman and John Wick star Ruby Rose has accused pop star Katy Perry of sexual assault. Then once that was announced, there have been a lot of other stories from people who were assaulted or felt uncomfortable around her. So that's interesting. Paddington the Musical could be headed for Broadway next year after triumphing at the Olivier Awards on Sunday night. First teaser for Eli Roth's Ice Cream Man. Eli Roth is a sicko, twisted horror film guy, and this is no different. Jennifer Lopez and Brett Goldstein star in Office Romance, a raunchy romantic comedy about a secret office romance that troubled two workaholics get into when they start thinking with their hearts. That should be coming soon. I think I've talked about that before. We'll probably be seeing some more stuff about that soon. An ITV drama, Mavis Eccleston, will star Jonathan Pryce and Penelope Wilton about joint suicidal pact partners. Dolly Martinez, who appeared in the 10th season of TLC's My 600-Pound Life, has died at the age of 30. Frailty, a fantastic, underrated horror film, was released 24 years ago this week. Mexico is getting universal health care, so good on them. Meanwhile, our pedophile president had an AI drawing of him as Jesus and claimed he was a doctor and not Jesus. So that didn't go over well, as declaring war on the Vatican. James the Giant Peach debuted 30 years ago this week. Grand S'mores rolls with marshmallow icing are returning to stores. Viktor Orban, the terrible dictator of Hungary, has conceded defeat after 16 years as Prime Minister of Hungary. Fear debuted 30 years ago this week with Reese Witherspoon and Mark Wahlberg. Phil Garner, former Major League Baseball player and manager, passed away at the age of 76. Stephen King's Cat's Eye debuted 41 years ago this week. It's a series of 3 films connected by one cat. Also has Drew Barrymore in one of the stories. The father of Denmark's Australian-born Queen Mary, John Donaldson, has died in Tasmania at the age of 84. Scientists have managed to film a spectacular event rarely witnessed by humans, a sperm whale giving birth while other females work together to support the mother and her newborn. Murmur, REM's debut album, was released 43 years ago this week. It's a pretty decent premiere album. Oh, boy. Anything else exciting? By Any Means, Paramount sets Labor Day release for Elegance Britain's 1963. I think I talked about that one already. Yes, I talked about these. So I've reached the point where I'm done. So I think what I will do is next week, I will probably write it down. I thought it would be easier with all the CinemaCon info to not write it down, but I don't know. It just seemed awkward to me. So that was it. Just checking one last thing to see if there's anything else that we can talk about before I take off here. I think that was it. Yep, that is it. It's just silly things. Oh, I kind of like this. Yep, 10. Yep. All right, I think that is it. All right, so next week, okay, Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey runtime will be under 3 hours. Okay. I thought it would be about 3 hours, but I guess not. So there we go. We got that. All right, this will be the last bit. 3 people sentenced to jail for bear suit insurance scam in California. That's a pretty neat storyline. I think that will be it. Yep, so next week, I don't know what's going on next week, but we'll find out when everybody else does. All right. I'm done. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you soon. Sorry, and forget about the first 10-minute one. I'm going to try to delete that. This is the one you want, the minute. 1 hour, 14-minute episode is when you're going to want to watch. And I will post that one, the others. All right. Thank you. Have a good one. Bye.